In the last year, we've learned a lot. We've learned that meatloaf and Jenga can be more fun than reservations and box seats.
Okay, guys, welcome back to the Medium Cool Show. We got a brand new episode premiering right now because we're going to talk about a film from 2002. But it takes place actually in the 1957, and it's directed by Todd Haynes. Far From Heaven with Dennis Quaid, Julianne Moore, and that one lady.
Sometimes it's the people outside our world you confide in best.
Yeah.
And the guy from State Farm, is that right?
Yeah, the guy who plays the actor in State Farm is in this movie too.
Yeah.
Okay. So you picked up this movie at Vidiots, and we watched it. Why don't you talk about your thought process of why we watched this movie and why you rented it?
Yeah, I like Todd Haynes. I've been wanting to get more and more into him. I haven't seen a lot of his stuff, but just like from that book we read, they talk about him a lot. And this book kind of ends around the time this came out and the Oscars surrounding this. This was one of the movies where, I think he went with, Universal for this or something. And he didn't go with Miramax, and Miramax was like really pissed at him and stuff, but like whatever. But yeah, I really like Todd Haynes. I think he's like a very creative filmmaker. He definitely has a lot to say in his films, which I appreciate because it seems like he always makes a film with an intention. And this one, well, it wasn't my favorite. I did understand what he was going for, and it was kind of a little bit like of an homage to, All That Heaven Allows. Like, what would you call those, like 50 romance movies?
The Douglas Sirk melodramas?
Yeah.
The Technicolor melodramas?
Yeah, Technicolor melodramas like that. It was kind of an homage to that. And I definitely appreciated it for that, And it has a little bit of like a modern twist on it. And I say modern as in like 2000 modern, not necessarily 2024 modern. Basically, it's like a Douglas Sirk melodrama, but, Julianne Moore is kind of unhappy, and her husband, Dennis Quaid, is like struggling with his like sexuality. And that's kind of like what comes out of this. And then it's like her struggles as like a housewife in the 50s in this like idyllic town where everyone's pretty like bigoted and closed-minded. And then she also starts to have feelings for this other guy who's a black man, and suddenly that causes a lot of problems in the town. And all of it's just bullshit, though. Like, it's all bullshit, because it's just, like, from, like, a modern lens, and it's like, this is so bullshit. Like, why are they such, like, assholes about all this, Like, why are they so, like, closed-minded? But, like, at the time, that's, like, those are real struggles that fucking a housewife could go through, So I thought it was really interesting. And then the filmmaking itself is pretty good.
Yeah.
I think Todd Haynes is definitely like a very talented filmmaker.
Yeah, it does a good job of with the homage to All That Heaven Allows and Magnificent Obsession. Personally, I feel like I like those movies more just because it's commentary of the time in the time. I just don't think you can beat the Technicolor looks to it. Like just watching it on the Blu-ray. It just looks so gorgeous, and even though those movies they're criticized because of how melodramatic they are, it's just like it's just the style of acting. You know what I mean? It's not trying to be like super realistic, yet those movies for their time also weren't really accepted because of the melodramatic aspects. But over time, they really, really went up. They were reappraised, and now they're considered real masterpieces.
Yeah.
By Douglas Sirk, and you also have Rock Hudson playing the main people in those films.
Yeah.
And he was also a closeted homosexual.
Yeah.
Just like
true.
Dennis Quaid at the time. Dennis Quaid in this film is he's a typical sort of white male, upper middle class guy. He has a big house, a good job, yet he is a closeted homosexual.
Yeah.
That he needs to hide it from his wife and his people. And slowly, the relationship becomes unraveled because there's no sexuality left in their relationship, and he's pretty much just sleeping with other men. They try to get help, but it doesn't work. And then he finally kind of just admits to her, hey, I fell in love with someone else. And then their relationship ends.
Yeah.
And then you have the other through line with the guy from State Farm that she's they never actually do anything, but by the end she's like offers, oh hey, I would love to be together with you, but he turns it down because he doesn't want to deal with it, you know.
Well, he's got a daughter, you know, and it's more like he's like, I have to prioritize my daughter before I prioritize like a relationship that, well, we do want to be together. I'm moving to another town, you know what I mean? Like, and she clearly like feels bad because there's a lot of pressure on like from the town, like, oh, you shouldn't see this guy. Oh, like that's so bad that you're seeing this black man or whatever, and you're a married woman. But like, you know, she's never like. I think it's kind of like her transgressions of the past of like what she did to him, where it's like he can't really move past that. You know what I mean? She kind of fucked it up. So.
Yeah, it is pretty predictable what's going to happen in this film. I think there was an initial intrigue to this where I was really into it, and then it kind of just plateaus a little bit, and we don't really get that like that emotional punch by the end. It kind of just like teeters off, and you get some dramatic moments, but then I don't know, it doesn't really have that hit compared to the other Todd Haynes movies I've seen, where it really packs like a punch emotionally. Like movies like Carol, I like, and like Safe, and the new one May December has like a kind of emotional punch to it. This one, I don't know, it kind of lingers, even though I appreciate them trying to do it.
Yeah, I understand that. Like, I feel the same way. I feel like it kind of lingered a little too long on this story, and there was really no shakeup.
Yeah.
You know, nothing really happened other than, like, they're trying to fix this marriage, and they just, like, can't. You know, and, like, I don't know. I just feel like you said, like, it wasn't interesting enough, and there wasn't, like, enough, like, melodrama to really, like, carry it to the next level. It was more just, like, the unsaid or whatever.
Yeah.
And it looks really gorgeous, the movie, but like you said, I think if you're going to pay homage to those old 50 movies, like, you need to make it look like an old 50s movie. And I feel like you can only do so much with costume, and you can only do so much with, like, set deck and stuff. But if you don't invest in, like, the film and, like, the right post house and stuff, you're not going to get that feel, you know? So it just looked too digital, like you were saying.
I think the subject matter when it came out in 2002 was pretty progressive, but now looking at it 2024, you're like, dude, we get it, you know, like we already know about this kind of things that we've kind of gone past that. We've seen it like so many times before, like like a gay relationship, and then like interracial relationship, you know.
I think the thing is that really trips me up about this movie is, like, in 1950, this stuff is really progressive, yes. But you're making a movie about this progressive stuff in 1950 and 2000 for a 2000 audience to be like, oh, look how progressive this movie is for the time, right? But now we're in 2024 where we've seen movies like Green Book, Moonlight, you know, like a lot of really, really boundary-pushing films, great films, that this movie kind of just feels a little dated at this point.
Yeah, it is dated. The subject matter is dated, yeah.
And that was something where I was like, oh, that's really interesting. Like, I can see of the time people being like, in 2000s, like, wow, you know, like, oh my God, I can't believe this movie came out. And this is like it's like a little bit of an Oscar baiting movie too.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, dude. Yeah. That was a period where it was, oh, if you had a gay movie, it was going to be Oscar.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I mean, like, Julianne Moore got nominated for it, which she should have. Like, she was really good in it, you know? And you can definitely go on this journey with her and always, like, understand her motivations at every moment, which I think is a sign of, like, a really good performance. But, yeah, I just feel like a little bit, some of it was, like, I'm not saying Todd Haynes set out to do this. I'm not saying the people on the film set out to do this. But I feel like the promoting of this film and the choices they made for this film in post was definitely with the idea of, like, we're going to get an Oscar out of this. Or, like, this is going to be a movie where we're going to show how progressive we are. Not actually for, like, the filmmaking aspect of it, you know, which is what I feel like a lot of people on this project set out to do.
Yeah.
So that's more like what I'm saying. I want to criticize them, but, yeah, definitely seemed dated.
Far From Heaven, not the best Todd Haynes. I think it's a lower rung Todd Haynes film. Obviously, Todd Haynes makes pretty good movies, I would say. this one isn't a pretty good movie. This one's just fine for the time now. I don't know if I can recommend it. I'm sure when it came out, people just thought to themselves, "Oh my gosh, this is based out woke shit," you know, and not woke in the bad term. Like people, I think it's kind of that term has been hijacked now, whereas back like woke then was kind of more of a based term, progressive term.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So Todd Haynes, the gossiper.
All right. Peace out, guys. Let us know what else you want us to watch. If you want us to watch another Todd Haynes movie, I'm always down. I'm down. And yeah, like and subscribe. We'll see you next time.
Peace. Knight Rider out.